Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new loot video for you all today. So this one has been requested for a while now, but knowing that I would lose a lot of money from this, I just kept putting it off until now. Ladies and gentlemen, today I bring you loot from 1000 enhanced crystal keys, also known as 1000 elven crystal chests. So almost 1 year ago, I did loot from 1000 Volcano, and in that video I received 2000 crystal shards, and in order for this crystal key video to be completed, I needed another 8,000 crystal shards. And this was due to the fact that in order to make one enhanced crystal key, you do need 10 crystal shards on top of a normal crystal key. If you dedicate yourself to Volcano, or if you train your Slayer in the Prifddinas Slayer Cave, or even your agility in the Prifddinas course, then you can start earning these crystal shards slowly but surely over time, doing many different activities in this elf city, which I will get into later on. But there's also one faster, much more expensive way to obtain crystal shards, and this is to buy the crystal related items in the Grand Exchange and trade them into the guy named R.G.B at the bar north of the house portal. This is exactly what I did in order to get the remaining 8,000 that we needed for this video, and a lot of money was spent to do so. And I know that this video has been done by multiple people on YouTube, but this is a loot series, and regardless if it's been done before, I have to do everything and anything in the game. And after the success of the crystal key video about a year ago or so, I figure it's only necessary to do a continuation with the enhanced version. Although this is only 1000, not 25,000, and you guys will understand why I only had to do 1000 for this video once you see how much was actually lost at the very end. Otherwise, I would have happily done 25,000. This was actually a lot more enjoyable than the normal crystal keys. And if you just want to skip to the price check, I completely understand. Just check out the description or the pinned comment to save yourself some time. And with all that being said, let's get started. Certainly not a great way to start the video, trading in a crystal tool seed for one crystal acorn. This is actually one of the many ways you can earn crystal shards, is by planting crystal trees and checking on them every 8 hours or so, getting just about 13,200 farming XP per tree, and all you really need is ultra compost. Unfortunately, the most crystal shards you can get from planting trees is 14 at a time, so it's obviously not the best way to get them, but nevertheless it is one of the many different methods that you can do. For me though, as I mentioned before, I did go ahead and buy a bunch of crystal related items and traded them all in for as many shards as I could get, and this did take about 6 hours. I had to wait out a Grand Exchange limit because I was on limit for most of all the crystal items: the tool seed, the weapon seed, the teleport seed, and I even traded in one crystal armor seed, which I lost 5.5 mil on. And although the prices of all these items vary, I think the smartest method is to use crystal weapon seeds. Those are only 180k each, and if I had a lot of friends help me out and I stacked all those up, I'm sure I wouldn't have lost as much as I did. But to make a long story short, I spent just about 186 mil in total for the remainder of the shards, that being just about 8,000. And I know that that is an insane amount of money, especially just to make 1000 enhanced crystal keys, but you gotta remember the average player would never do this. I mean, you're never going to make money if you buy the crystal items and make the key that way. It's just not possible. The loot's just not good enough. But since my concern was just the loot and not the actual profit from it, I just went with the fastest method, and that of course is buying the crystals. An alternative and a free and a fun way to obtain shards, of course, would be this on screen here: training your agility while using the Prifddinas course, earning shards instead of marks of grace, and getting up to 65k agility XP per hour. And if you're not a big fan of agility, that is completely fine, because you can actually obtain shards through doing Slayer in the Prifddinas Slayer Caves, no matter what task you're on. I have gotten a few shards during some Dark Beast tasks in the past. And of course, you can obtain shards from doing Volcano, the Gauntlet, catching crystal implings, which will be a future video, pickpocketing elves, mining ore, chopping trees, a long list of a variety set of skills that you can train and earn shards while doing so. And as it goes for the Gauntlet, I'm sure that's a top contender as it goes for earning shards. I've just never tried it out yet, still need to do it even a single time, and then of course make a video on it in the future, so that'll be on standby. Here we are though, 6 hours later, and we finally have 1000 enhanced crystal keys. The reason it took so long was mainly just because of the Grand Exchange offers. You know how to buy so many crystal items, and I did hit limit. In the process of creating these 1000 keys, it's actually pretty beneficial. You know, you do get 500 experience in both crafting and smithing, which means from this video alone we did get 500k XP in both of those skills. You do need 80 smithing and crafting to actually make a crystal key, and this level can be boosted. And if you don't have these level requirements, you can always just just bring the materials to Con Winna or Reese, which are two different NPCs, and they can make the crystal keys for you. But you have to use an extra 5 crystal shards, so it'll be 15 instead of 10 shards per key. And I'm sure most of you guys know this, but the enhanced crystal key is basically just an upgraded version of the regular crystal key, and it's used to open the elven crystal chest in the upper level of the Tower of Voices in Prifddinas. Was released into the game July 25th, 2019, so it's relatively new compared to most keys in this game. And the rarest thing that you can obtain from using this key on the elven crystal chest is the uncut onyx, which is 1 in 10,000 and at a current price of just shy of 3 mil. Yeah, believe it or not, that shield left half there is only 1 in 256 compared to the top dog being the onyx. You can also obtain dragon plate legs and dragon plate skirt, which is 1 in 256, and you're always guaranteed an uncut dragonstone back, just like the normal crystal key. I think it would be cool if they added like a possibility to receive 2 uncut dragonstones, since it is enhanced, but that's just an idea. And other than the uncut onyx, the second rarest thing that you can get, which is a 1 in 2,500, is the dragonstone armor. If you're curious what that is, that's essentially the armor that I'm wearing during this whole video. It's actually one of my favorite fashionscape looks, you know, the purple trim with the blue. Really looks nice, and although it is 1 in 2,500 per item, it's overall 1 in 500 chance, since there's 5 different items that you can get, ranging from the full helm to the plate body, plate legs, gauntlets, and boots. So it's nice that this armor actually comes with gauntlets. You don't see that too much with other armors in this game. And I was lucky enough to actually obtain a dragonstone item, which was kind of close to my 300th chest overall. This was around 316, and I did receive the dragonstone full helm, which is just at a current price of 1.5 mil. Most of the dragonstone items are actually around the price of 1.5 mil. The most expensive is the plate legs, which is 1.6, and the least expensive is the boots, which are 500k, but everything else is above 1.4, so at least that's nice. Now, as it goes for the normal loot, you can expect to receive a decent amount of coins, but you do still have to pick them up. I was wearing a ring of wealth during this video, but it did not assist me with that. You can also expect common tooth and loop keys, 1 in 8 there, 1 in 8 for the uncut rubies and uncut diamonds, which are noted. I was just bringing 10 enhanced crystal keys every single inventory. That seemed to be enough for me. There would be occasions when my inventory would be full, and that would mainly be because of the unnoted rune ore drops, which drops in quantities of 7 to 10, and if that happens, sometimes you do have to make a second trip just to pick everything back up, but I would say 10 keys is a safe bet. That only happened a couple times, so it wasn't too much of a hassle. You can also expect to get a lot of noted gold ore, as well as raw sharks. Very useful items for an Iron Man account. And that crystal tree that we did talk about before, you can get the items required to make that, which is the crystal acorns, and those are actually really hard to come by, so it's nice that you can actually get those from this activity as well. And although we did have to use 10,000 shards for this video, which cost a staggering amount of money to obtain, you do also get a ton of shards back as well, so you're not going to lose out on all of them. Once we get to the price check, you guys will see just how much you can expect on a return from 1,000. And I was on RuneLite, so all this loot was tracked whether I was paying attention or not. Of course, we were just using one bank tab throughout this video. You can also expect to get runes from this, so if you want to bring a rune pouch, maybe save some inventory space and a little bit of time, I guess you can do that, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Overall, I really did enjoy doing this video, and I really just enjoyed these enhanced crystal keys in general, especially just the story behind them and just the components to make them, the crystal shards. You know, those are so useful in this game for so many different things. You know, those create the best in slot skilling materials like harpoons, pickaxes, best in slot weapon for Corp, which is the crystal halberd, of course the crystal axes for woodcutting, and of course the enhanced crystal keys for these lovely chests. And here we are with loot from 1,000 being completed. All in all, it really only took a day, probably like 2 days total if you include the editing and the voiceover and all that. So the real question is, how much money did we lose from this video, spending over 180 mil, just like anyone else would have had to if you want to do all of these keys in one sitting and you just want to rush it all. But yeah, overall, let's see what the loot is worth. Overall loot from 1,000 enhanced crystal keys comes out to be 53.7 mil, only receiving one rare, that being the full helm. 13.2 mil just in the dragonstones that we received back. We also got 40 acorns, which is translated to 40 crystal trees. Not too bad at all. It's some nice farming XP. But yeah, even with all of the items that we did receive, we lost 129.7 mil. Now, we did receive 3,000 crystal shards back, so if you kind of price them as if I bought them this video, I guess you can say that we made like like, I guess you can say that we made back 54 mil from the 3,000 shards, since it looks like it ended up being like 18k a shard or something like that. The math really doesn't matter at this point because, you know, no one's gonna make money from this either way. But with all those 3,000 shards, you can make some money by using them for the divine potions, or of course, you know, making more keys and getting back some of those. All the acorns did add up to about 529k farming XP if you want to look at them as in crystal trees, and we did receive 500k crafting and smithing XP. A lot of money was lost on this one, but you know what, a lot was learned. The good thing about this video is we didn't have to do 25,000, we only had to do 1,000. Either way, I still haven't made money from any crystal key in this game, and I don't think I ever will. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the description below if you want to support me using those links. And of course, everything was tracked with RuneLite, so you can see all of the loot there. And I should have loot from 100 Jad and also an incredible loot from 10,000 video out within this week. So yeah, until next time, guys, Mr. No Sleep, out.